Let's talk about BPD and anger, how I dealt with it, how I'm dealing with it every day, and what you can do to deal with it a little bit better. So the first thing every therapist taught me about was coping skills. Something like this little friend that you can squeeze when you're angry, or biting a chili, or having a cold shower, or going for a run. The idea of coping skills basically is to be able to deal with all your triggers, with all your impulsive reactions, emotions, and everything that might harm yourself and others, to be able to find a healthier solution. So you need to find out for yourself what helps you. Where can you release your anger? Where can you release that emotion, that sadness? For some people it's boxing. For others it's crying. It might be screaming in the woods. You probably need to try out a couple things. Depending on the intensity of your anger, different things will work at a different time. If you want me to, I will make another video just about coping skills. But for now, just try to find out whatever helps you when you're angry. And it might be just squeezing this little ball, or it might be going for a run, or calling a friend. There will be something that helps you in case of anger emergency. However, the coping mechanisms for me, they only work on the symptoms. I wanted to work on my anger. I wanted to stop myself from being angry. I didn't want to be angry anymore. I wanted to be a normal human being that feels things on a normal level without wanting to throw jandals against a wall. For me, it was really important to analyze my emotions, to analyze my anger, to go inward. Therefore, I needed to feel that anger. So whilst I think many people work with suppressing that anger or trying to handle it, I actually went the opposite way. I meditated and started to feel everything inside. And what I realized is that it wasn't really anger. Most of the time it was massive sadness covered in anger. So I tried to protect myself with that anger. People triggered me and made me sad, and then for some reason I just became super freaking angry. Or maybe different things happened after time that triggered me, and slowly but surely I just became more sad, and all of a sudden everything escalated and I started to become super angry. So when I went inwards, I allowed myself to feel angry. I didn't act on that anger. I didn't throw jandals at someone. I just felt everything. And I gave the anger room and allowed it to be there, just like every other emotion. If you feel it, you can heal it. And then I allowed the sadness in, and I covered myself in love. And all of a sudden, I didn't feel that angry anymore. And of course, I got triggered again. And I had to repeat that kind of mantra over and over again. I remember I was jealous at that one girl in Queenstown once, and I went for a walk. I walked for 2 hours and I listened to the power of now. I meditated and I came back and gave that girl that I was so jealous and angry about a hug. I really tried to convert that anger in love, and that isn't easy. I'm not saying like you just have to feel your anger and everything is gonna be alright, and that is basically what I'm saying, but I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. Because you don't want to feel that anger. You don't want to feel that pain. You don't want to feel so triggered. And I'm telling you as well, if you're not stable enough to face that emotion, you don't have to go as deep. If you feel completely unstable, maybe work on your mental stability first before you start working on those deeper things. Otherwise, you might just feel worse and worse. So after analyzing my anger and feeling my anger, I also wanted to know, where exactly does this anger come from? Reflecting on my childhood and everything, I remembered how angry my mom used to be when I was a child and how much she was yelling, and I never really learned as a child to deal with emotions. I wasn't allowed to be angry, but I was yelled at all the time. And my mom would explode over and over for no reason. And as a child, I just didn't understand what was going on. and I thought I was the problem, and I was super confused. So I'm not blaming my mom because it wasn't her fault. She didn't know how to deal with her emotions. Maybe her responsibility, but not her fault. But I needed to know where it came from so I could separate from that emotion. So in the case of getting angry in the present moment, I could just tell myself, you know what? This is actually not my anger. This is something I've been carrying with, but it doesn't belong to me. I'm not an angry person. I'm loving and I'm kind. What helped me as well was hypnotherapy, because with hypnosis, you work on your subconscious feelings. It's really hard to rewire your brain because you have to do that every single day. You have to question your thoughts every day. But with hypnosis, for example, it's a lot easier. There's a lot of free hypnosis on the internet where you can work on anger issues, but you can also invest in your mental health and invest in yourself like I did and just spend money on verified hypnotherapists in your area. I highly recommend that to you. Personally, it helped me a lot because it took away my childhood burden. And I'm telling you, I'm still working on myself every single day. It's a long journey and it takes a lot of time, but with experience, you will grow. And you will learn how to deal with your emotions. And you will also learn that your emotions speak for yourself and not against yourself. And you'll be able to use your emotions as a tool to help yourself go through life, because you need anger in case of emergency when something happens to you. Obviously, you don't need anger to hurt your most loved ones and yourself, but it's still a very valid emotion. So try not to discard that anger and say, I don't want to feel angry, but try to learn to accept it as a very important part of your life that, however, doesn't control your life. It's a tool you can use whenever you need to protect yourself. It's normal to get angry in relationships, and you just need to learn how to regulate the amount of anger you feel. You need to treat people with respect. You need to treat people the way that you want to be treated. And you need to treat yourself the way that you want to be treated. Everything starts with you, so start working on yourself. BPD recovery is possible. You're amazing and loved. I believe in you. Take care and see you next time.